Well, how are you guys today? It's our weather school TXU Weatherminds Facebook Live. You guys doing okay today? I know we have a bunch of folks that are joining right now. Welcome to my office. You guys over the I've been doing this for a long time now, and you guys have always looked that way. So my office has been completely rearranged. It's now WFAA. It's the Northern Command Center for WFAA right now. I live in Plano. Hello to all of my neighbors. If you're Planoites, hello to you. I've got an itchy nose today. I know we're not supposed to touch our face, but my hands are clean and I'm not touching anything else. And I am social distancing. But I've got a great book I want to read today. So we're going to let a few more people join here. We're almost at 1,000 right now. Hello to Ashley Wilcoxon from Payne and Farmers Branch. This is a great kids book today. Carrie Aldridge says hello from Macy. Lizzie Ayala, hello from Ivy in Dallas. Hello from Grant and Dane in Aledo. That's Emily Gartman. Amy Doucette Ansley, age 9, is here from Blooming Grove. Man, this is going to be great today. So I'm a reading ambassador at schools all across North Texas each and every year. And I go out and I read books. And the teachers always ask, Pete, what kind of book do you want to read? I'm like, well, let's pick a weather book. I said, I'll read any books to kids, but let's pick a weather book. And so the book, it never fails. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is the book that I've read for I don't know how many years I've done this now. I don't know how many years Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs has been around, but I think I've read it 1,000 times or so. So that's the book that we're going to read today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to, as we do this until the end of the school year, I think, 1 week I'll read a book. And I would like you guys to make some suggestions to me. The book maybe that you'd like me to read. And then the next week I'll do like a weather class. And all of the different meteorologists, whether it's Greg Fields, Kaylee Dion, Jesse Hawila, or Kyle Roberts, they're all going to have their little curriculum. It's all going to be different because we're all different, right? And that's the beauty of our world is we're all different. We all have unique personalities. So kids, as you're listening today to this, and this is mainly for the kids, moms, dads, whoever's taking care of you right now, letting you look at their Facebook. Yeah, that's great. We want our kids to be different. And kids, it's important. You don't want to be just like everybody else. Embrace your uniqueness. We all have that. So with that said, let's go ahead and get started. I've got the world's greatest weather producer running this for me today. So Jason, let's take a look at this. And again, it's Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Jason has put this together. I don't know why I'm so itchy today with my nose. Maybe it's, well, number one, I've got a big nose, but maybe it's all the pollen floating around. So Jason's designed this page for me, and I brag on him all the time what an awesome job he does, and he did it again today. Because I'm like, how am I going to read a book? I can hold it up, but it's not going to be as visual for you as it would be as if you're just looking at it. So there it is, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Judy Barrett and drawn by Ron Barrett. So Judy and Ron put this together. Over 1 million copies sold. So let's take a look at page 1. And as we take a look at what's going on here inside the book today, I think I can just tap on that and then we can go to the next page. There we are. Look at this. So this is how we figured we would do it today. So let me start with this, guys. And it looks like this book has been around since what year? 1978. It was copyrighted in 1978. This book has been around longer than most of you watching have been around. And it's a really fun book. So let's start with this, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. So here we go. We were all sitting around the big kitchen table. It was Saturday morning, pancake morning. Mom was squeezing oranges for juice. Henry and I were betting on how many pancakes we each could eat. And Grandpa was doing the flipping. You see here, over here on the left? See what's going on with Grandpa? See the dog running through the house? See the chair and the cat? The dog's chasing the cat. Seconds later, something flew through the air, headed toward the kitchen ceiling, and landed right on Henry. You see that? See the pancake on Henry? After we realized that the flying object was only a pancake, we all laughed, even Grandpa. Breakfast continued quite uneventfully. All the other pancakes landed in the pan, and all of them were eaten, even the one that landed on Henry. You can see all 4 of them. Looks like the cat is kind of there to Henry's right, and then the dog's over here on the right side. So, okay. Here's the next one. That night, touched off by the pancake incident at breakfast, Grandpa told us the best tall tale bedtime story he'd ever told. He said this. Across an ocean, over lots of huge bumpy mountains, across 3 hot deserts and 1 smaller ocean, there lay the tiny town of Chew and Swallow. Pretty cool right there. You can see the ocean, you can see the mountains, you can see the water on the other side. Pretty neat, huh? You guys take a look at that for a second. Kind of see the sun. I don't know, is it rising or setting? I don't know. It looks like it might be off to the east, so it might be rising. Huh, there we go. Okay, here's the next one. I always love looking at these pictures right here. I think they just did such a great job, illustrating this book. In most ways, it was very much like any other tiny town. It had a main street lined with stores, houses with trees and gardens around them, a schoolhouse, about 300 people, and some assorted cats and dogs. You kind of see all that going on in town. You can see the mountains, you can see the church, you see Main Street. Pretty cool. Okay. But there were no food stores in the town of Chew and Swallow. No food stores. Wonder where they got their food. They didn't need any. The sky supplied all the food they could possibly want. The only thing that was really different about Chew and Swallow was its weather. It came 3 times a day, at breakfast, at lunch, and at dinner. And everything that everyone ate came from the sky. Think about that for just a minute, guys. Everything that everyone ate came from the skies. Wow. Whatever the weather served, that was what they ate. Whatever the weather served, that's what they ate. But it never rained rain, and it never snowed snow, and it never blew just wind. It rained, this is funny, it rained things like soup and juice. It snowed mashed potatoes and green peas. And sometimes the wind blew in storms of hamburgers. You see the storm of hamburgers? You see the snowy mashed potatoes and the soup and the juice? 3 times a day, guys. The people could watch the weather report on television in the morning, and they would even hear a prediction for the next day's food. Wow. When the townspeople went outside, they carried their plates, cups, glasses, forks, spoons, knives, and napkins with them. That way they would always be prepared for any kind of weather. If there were leftovers, and there usually were, the people took them home and put them in the refrigerators in case they got hungry between meals. That's just crazy. Look at the hamburgers and all of the stuff just falling from the sky. The soup, look at the dog down here in the bottom. You see that, guys? Looks like a bulldog. He's got soup coming out of the umbrella. He's got a straw in his mouth. You see that? See the woman running down the street catching like a turkey leg or something? You see the turkey legs falling from the sky? Pretty neat. The menu varied. By the time they woke up in the morning, breakfast was coming down. After a brief shower of orange juice, low clouds of sunny side eggs moved in, followed by pieces of toast, butter and jelly sprinkled down for the toast. Can you imagine that? Butter and jelly sprinkling down for your toast? And most of the time, you know what it rained? It rained milk afterwards. That's pretty cool. Look at the birds and the squirrels up in the tree eating the toast and the egg. See the squirrel eating the egg? And see the boy catching the juice, the orange juice there in his glass? For lunch one day, frankfurters, already in their rolls, blew in from the northwest at about 5 miles an hour. There were mustard clouds nearby. Then the windshield shifted to the east and brought in baked beans. Can you imagine that? Baked beans? A drizzle of soda finished off the meal. I bet a lot of you guys would like that, a little soda to finish off your meal. Dinner one night consisted of lamb chops, becoming heavy at times with occasional ketchup. Periods of peas and baked potatoes were followed by gradual clearing with a wonderful jello setting in the west. Look at the jello setting in the west. And look at the deer there on the left side. The sanitation department of Chew and Swallow had a rather unusual job for a sanitation department. It had to remove the food that fell on the houses and sidewalks and lawns. The workers cleaned things up after every meal and fed all the dogs and cats. Then they emptied some of it into the surrounding oceans for the fish and turtles and whales to eat. The rest of the food was put back into earth so that the soil would be richer for the people's flower gardens. You guys can see the sanitation department. Look how they're cleaning that up. They're cleaning that up with a big fork and a knife. And look how the dogs and the cat are just sitting there kind of watching. Pretty interesting. Life for the townspeople was delicious until the weather took a turn for the worse. See what the headline is in their local newspaper, the Chew and Swallow Digest? Spaghetti ties up town. Record-breaking pasta fall causes chaos. Traffic snarled on Lower Intestine Street. Wonder what they're going to do. One day there was nothing but gorgonzola cheese all day long. Can you imagine that? Gorgonzola cheese all day long? The next day, there was only broccoli, and it was all overcooked. And the next day, there were Brussels sprouts and peanut butter with mayonnaise. Another day, there was a pea soup fog. No one could see where they were going, and they could barely find the rest of the meal that got stuck in the fog. You see the guy down there stuck in the pea soup fog? The food was getting larger and larger, and so were the portions. The people were getting frightened. Violent storms blew up frequently, and awful things were happening. One Tuesday, now listen to this. One Tuesday, there was a hurricane of bread rolls all day long into the night. There were some soft rolls, hard rolls, some with seeds, some without. There was white bread and rye and whole wheat toast. Most of it was larger than they had ever seen bread rolls before. It was truly a terrible day. Everyone had to stay indoors. Roofs were damaged, and the sanitation department was beside itself. The mess took the workers 4 days to clean up, and the sea was full of floating rolls. To help out, the people piled up as much bread as they could in their backyards. The birds picked at it a bit, but it just stayed there and got staler and staler. There was a storm of pancakes one morning and a downpour of maple syrup that nearly flooded the town. It was a downpour of maple syrup. A huge pancake covered the school. No one could get it off because of its weight, so they had to close the school. You see that? You see the pancake on top of the school? You can see the front steps and the front door of the school, and you can see all the syrup on top. Wow. Look at the firemen. See one of the firemen, they have a knife, like a butter knife, and a fork and a spoon. Wow, pancakes everywhere. Lunch one day brought 15-inch drifts of cream cheese and jelly sandwiches. Everyone ate themselves sick, and the day ended with a stomachache. Look at all of that, all those cream cheese and jelly sandwiches. There was an awful salt and pepper wind accompanied by an even worse tomato tornado. A tomato tornado! People were sneezing themselves silly and running to avoid the tomatoes. The town was a mess. There were seeds and pulp everywhere. Look at that tomato tornado. You guys see that? You see the guy in the bathtub and the sailor up on top with his oars? And look at the is that a little boy flying the kite? And look at the guy up on the left. It looks like he's trying to brush his teeth, and look how all the toothpaste squirted out. A tomato tornado, guys. The sanitation department, they just gave up. The job was too big. Everyone feared for their lives. They couldn't go outside most of the time. Many houses had been badly damaged by giant meatballs. Stores were boarded up, and there was no more school for the children. So a decision was made, a terrible decision, but it had to be made. They needed to abandon the town of Chew and Swallow. They were abandoning the town of Chew and Swallow. It was a matter of survival. Look at all of them with the hamburgers, the noodles, the donuts, the slice of pizza. Oh, The people glued together the giant pieces of stale bread, sandwich style with peanut butter, took the absolute necessities with them, and set sail on their rafts for a new land. Look at their raft. You see their raft? It's a sandwich style peanut butter. It's stale bread, so it's floating. And look what they're leaving behind. All the storms, see it back there? After being afloat for a week, they finally reached a small coastal town which welcomed them. The bread had held up surprisingly well enough for them to build temporary houses for themselves out of it. The children began school again, and the adults all tried to find new places for themselves in the new land. The biggest change they had to make was getting used to buying food at a supermarket. They found it odd that the food was kept on shelves, packed in boxes, cans and bottles. Meat that had to be cooked was kept in large refrigerators. Nothing came down from the sky except rain and snow. The clouds above their heads, they weren't made of fried eggs. No one ever got hit by a hamburger again, and nobody dared to go back to Chew and Swallow to find out what had happened to it. They were all too afraid. Henry and I were awake until the very end of Grandpa's story. I remember his goodnight kiss. Have you guys ever heard a story like that before? The next morning, we woke up to see snow falling outside our windows. We ran downstairs for breakfast and ate it a little faster than usual so we could go sledding with Grandpa. It's funny, but even as we were sliding down the hill, we thought we saw a giant pat of butter at the top, and we could almost smell the mashed potatoes. The end. What do you guys think of that? Did you guys like that story? That's a pretty cool story. We'll go back to our Facebook questions now so we can see those. I thought that was a really good story. I hope you guys did too. I see Laura Crowder says, holy moly. Katrina Anschutz, Pete, you're a great storyteller. That's from Charlie. He's 9 years old. Tiffany Finkelstein says, thank you, Pete. Well, Tiffany, you're welcome. Ebony Brown says, I didn't even know there was a book. Caroline Gifford, great book. See, aren't these books? And I want to do this with you guys. I want to read books to you guys. Maybe it's every other week that I do this. And I just want you guys to give you guys, you moms, you dads, you caregivers, give you a little break. And maybe it's something new for the kids they can hear that they haven't heard before. But so anyway, let me answer some questions from the kids now. Nathalia Wilk. Jack, age 5, asks, what kind of clouds would bring hamburgers? Jack, that's a great question. I'm thinking the kind of clouds that would bring hamburgers would be like the big, fluffy cumulonimbus clouds. You know, because I think those are the types of clouds that could probably hold the hamburgers aloft before the clouds just became so filled with hamburgers they had to drop from the sky. So I would say cumulonimbus clouds would be the type of clouds that would hold hamburgers. So I just saw the question go by. Somebody has said, have you seen the movie? And I actually have seen the movie. Tiffany Shaw says, Riley says, that's my favorite movie. They got hit by a tomato tornado. That's exactly right. Let's see. Sarah Ritzema, thank you for the story. I wish it would snow cupcake icing. Sophia said that, and she's in 3rd grade. Thanks, Sophia and Mom Sarah. Let's see. Thule Yount, I would eat all those pancakes. Eli says that. Eli's 7 years old. Eli, do you like syrup? Would you like, I kind of like syrup and butter on my pancakes. I don't eat many of them, but I do like syrup and butter on mine. That would be fun. Here we go. Jen Holt. Alex, age 8, says, what type of clouds make up the cap? What type of clouds would make up the cap? And as to how it relates to the town of Chew and Swallow, I don't know. That would be a very good one. What kind of clouds? Well, they would have to be fairly, I guess, some type of mid-level clouds. What could they be? Maybe some type of pancake cloud would be the type of cloud that would hold the cap, that would be the cap on our atmosphere. Okay, Heather Donner, Heath, age 5. Pete, what would you want to eat from the sky? Well, Heath, thank you for the question. What would I like to eat from the sky? I think it would be kind of cool to have like macaroni and cheese falling from the sky with like extra cheese. I think I would like that. That would be pretty good. Thinking about that, yep, I'm going to go with macaroni and cheese. I love macaroni and cheese. Okay. Laura Javier, Nira says, did you read this story when you were little? Nope. Nira, I did not read this story when I was little. I don't know. And I said it's been around since like back in the 70s. I wasn't familiar with this book that I recall until I became a weather guy. And then that's when I started learning about it when I would go to school and talk to kids all the time. Thule Yount, one more from Thule. Malin, must be a couple of kids in that house. I think a tornado would be crazy. Malin, I do too. I think that would be as well. Patty Bellinger. I know Patty Bellinger. Patty Bellinger, Emily wants to know what clouds are outside today. I haven't been outside today, but I'm guessing we probably have some, I doubt we have many cirrus clouds because they're going to be on top of some type of mid-level cloud that we have out there, but I'd have to look. Patty, thank you for the question. Let's see, what else do we have here? Angie Hassan, my favorite part was when the school was closed by a pancake. Do you believe that? The school was closed by a pancake. A big pancake filled with syrup was on top of it. Mallory Myers, Briley wants to know what your favorite book is. My favorite kid weather book it's got to be this one, and that's probably why I started with this one. All the weather books that I've read over the years, all the kid books, I think they've been good. I did see the second movie, Vicky Riddle. Yes, I did see that too. But I think this is my favorite kids weather book. It's just kind of a fun book, and to think that Grandpa was telling this as a bedtime story. Just think of all the dreams the kids had, right? Carrie Douglas, Luke H5 says, great story, and he likes your hat. Luke, thanks, buddy. I like it too, my Under Armour hat. Ashley Westfall, what if you found out that it was going to snow mashed potatoes? Paige, who's age 10 and in fourth grade, asked that question. What if I found out that it was going to snow mashed? That'd be pretty crazy, Paige, if it was going to snow mashed potatoes. What do you think everybody would do in North Texas if it snowed mashed potatoes? Let's see. What do we have here? Brianna Evans, Leland said the dog catching soup looks like his dog. It kind of did, didn't it? Did it look like your dog? I was kind of thinking of that. I bet some of you guys have dogs that look like that one. Beth Frazier, how is social distancing going for you, Pete? Beth, it's going okay. Probably just like everybody else. You know, I look for those moments to go outside, and you kids do the same thing. You know, with all the rain that's in the forecast, it's not going to be nonstop over the next 10 days, but it's just kind of on and off. I think that any chance we get to go out in the yard and maybe go to a park, social distancing, of course, or maybe just take a walk down the sidewalk, social distancing, of course. I think that's pretty good. Let's see, what else do we have here? Emma, age 10 from Lubbock, says, Whitney Von Berg, she says she's from Lubbock, Emma is, she wants it to rain mac and cheese also. So there we go. Okay, let's see. Allison Thomas, what are those awards, Pete? They look like Emmys. They are. They're Emmys. I kind of hard to. You don't want to have all your junk in the background for people. Let me give you guys a little peek here into my kind of part of my office right now. We've designed it like a TV. This isn't how my office normally sits. We've taken some stuff off the bookshelves here. My globe was over there. We've taken some stuff off the bookshelves, and we've kind of moved it around so it's kind of TV ready. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights here in my office now. And you see that ring light up there? That's my little backlight. You can see the halo there on my map. I've had people asking me about my map. They said, you have push pins in there. And I said, I do have push pins in there. Those are all the places that I've been to, along with my wife and my son and my daughter, all the places that we visited. So I've been to every state except for, I have not been to Maine, and I have not been to Hawaii, but I've been to the other 48. And the District of Columbia. We don't want to forget DC. So there you go. So that's kind of a little tour here in my office. Okay, so guys, let's do this. I'm wrapping up our Facebook Live for the day. This was fun. It really was. This was a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys enjoyed it too. And I'll figure it out. I'll either have another book for next week when I do this, or I will have just a weather class, just a little class on meteorology. So anyway, to everybody that sent in questions and to everyone that watched, I sure appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoy your afternoon. Get outside. There's not a lot of rain out there right now. There's some. Get outside and, take a half an hour and get a little exercise if you can. Social distancing, of course, and enjoy your afternoon. I'll see you guys tonight on News 8 at 5. See you then.